My name's Roni and I am one of the directors to Pamodzi Creatives. Pamodzi actually means together, and we aim to celebrate inspirational stories in the city. But we also want to collaborate with creatives to just lean into challenging conversations that aspire and affirm us. And this year, we really wanted to talk about mental health. And I am here with a fabulous and really grateful to have her, Charla, who runs something called the Grateful Hearts Club.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
So tell us about the Grateful Hearts Club to begin with, because
Yeah.
it's amazing.
So the Grateful Hearts Club essentially is all of the things I've learnt about gratitude, and it's how I share them with people. And I've been on my own mental health journey and experienced a lot of loss and grief, and gratitude has been a big part of that healing journey for me. So yeah, the Grateful Hearts Club it's products, workshops, any way that I can help people understand about gratitude and how it can have a really positive effect on your mental health. And I think conversations around mental health are so important. So it's a real joy to be here and to chat to people and learn a bit more about their journeys.
I love what Charla does, and I just thought it would be a great opportunity to bring together and create a space where we can come together and have some honest conversations about mental health. And we have today two lovely ladies who we're going to do that with. So we've got Priscilla, who happens to be an Inspirational Women of Portsmouth award recipient for her work in the community internationally as well. And then we've got Lottie Wallace, who is just wonderful and I've worked with in a kind of mentoring work experience context. So we just asked you guys to come along and just maybe share your thoughts on mental health, lean into the conversation about it. We watched a video together, didn't we, which was based around Jessie Nelson from The Little Mix, called The Odd One Out. And her story is a really sad example of what social media can do to somebody's self-esteem. But just wondered, off the back of that, have you ever found yourselves in a situation where you felt like the odd one out, space-wise?
Oh, definitely, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
It is difficult to fit in, especially at the moment in general, I feel like. And what is fitting in anyway? There shouldn't be a normal, because everyone's different, and that's how we're so diverse. If everyone was the same, I think it would be really boring. But everyone has their own demons, which is why obviously you've got to try and be nice to people. I can't always be the nicest, and I am trying to improve that because I'm quite feisty sometimes. But everyone's got their own demons, and that's why it's always difficult for some way in another to fit in, I find. And you find yourself changing to different groups, I think, sometimes. But I'm slowly learning myself, like, not to change, because if people really like me, then they'll stay around. And yeah, it's hard, but you get through it. And it's better in the end, better outcome, I find.
Do you think that social media plays a part in that at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I personally do not like social media at all. I think it does not help in any way. I wish it wasn't here, but I feel it would be so much easier if we didn't have it, but because we have it, I feel the need to have it so that I'm kept in the loop. And it's a bit of FOMO, if you will, fear of missing out. But but yeah, I really don't like social media at all. I think it just can be so great, and it can be so, for things like this, it spreads so much awareness. I've met so many people, great people like you guys, through social media. However, in the wrong hands, it can be absolutely vile, as Jessie Nelson went through. So I think it can either be really great or the worst thing in the world.
We were talking about how in the documentary she was talking about her first time getting off the stage at X Factor and having hundreds of messages come in, and the first one being, "You're ugly."
It was so sad,
And
wasn't
it
it?
just totally took away from the experience, didn't it?
Yeah.
Just sad.
And that one negative message can stand out in a sea of hundreds of positive ones. I feel like there's that real sense as well, like you were saying, comparison, I guess. We can see, we've got access to what's going on in people's lives, and we can compare ourselves so much more than we ever have. Can be so damaging. Do you think that social media has had any impact on your own mental health?
Oh, yeah, very much so. I mean, everyone struggles with the way they look, but especially as a teenage girl growing up, and teenage boys get it as well, because they've got, they've got to have six packs, all of these things. But you see people like Kendall Jenner, who is beautiful, but then you're also like, am I supposed to look like this Victoria's Secret's model, where you look at the Victoria's Secret model diet and you're like, how is this possible to eat this sort of thing? So I think, it is really damaging. And then also it can be things like you see your mate going out with friends that you thought you didn't like, and you're like, oh, but I thought you didn't like, okay, well, I haven't been invited to that. So it's little things like, oh, now they might not like me as much. And it's just, but then again, it can be really good, but the tunnel vision, I think it is, and I have that sometimes, and narrowing on the really bad stuff. But it's definitely affected my mental health, definitely.
It's so interesting. I've spoken to quite a few young people, and it seems like lots of them feel like that. You feel the same, but there's this like necessity to be part of it. It's sad, really, isn't it?
And all-consuming.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm always on my phone. I mean, my mum has to go all the time. She's like, why are you on your phone? I'm like, half the time I'm not even on social media, but it's just the constant feel like, oh, but if I don't see it now, the pressure
and the habit that you can form habits so easily, can't you? And I feel like a lot of people are addicted to their phones now.
I remember I went off my phone for like a week or 2 weeks, and it actually did improve my mental health so much more. It was the first few days I was like, oh my God, I'm missing on everything. I can't function without it. But then as it went on, I was a bit more like, oh, okay. And lots of my friends, when they go, their mental health goes to absolute rubbish. A lot of my friends will log out of Snapchat and all of these social media platforms. They'll read some books and then they'll come back on, and a break is needed. Like sometimes I'll just turn off my phone. I'm like, no, I cannot deal with this today. We can deal with this another day.
Yeah.
But
How would you say it's affected?
Like
Your mental
Roni, Roni said that we do our charity works internationally and in Portsmouth. So basically in Portsmouth, what we do is to do events that tries to bring people together to reduce isolation, which I think if people are lonely, mental health is even worse, I think, sometimes. But again, having said that, like the social media, it can either make you or break you. So at the moment, because people are always on social media, and obviously after the lockdown, people intend to even go more on social media, like what Charlotte is saying. Charlotte was saying, it's like you want to see what's going on out there. There's so much pressure, I think. And I cannot imagine how Jessie felt, because the loneliness, because you feel these are doing better, or I have to look this way. And there's just so much in people's faces, especially the young ones. There's just so much adverts about, this fake world. I think there's so much fake world out there where someone should, body images, like body image, someone should look this way. And when people go there, they want to look how their friends are looking. And then you find people having these mental health issues or suicidal thoughts because they think maybe they are too fat. Or, just because of what we've seen. And I feel sometimes, social media is not what it portrays to be sometimes. People will post in cars, like maybe for them, maybe it's more about bodies. For me, maybe it would be about maybe friends posting nice things. You're like, oh my God, wow. But it's not real. It's not what this perfect house, And you're thinking, but then if we need more awareness, we need to know that not everything is posted on social media is true. And for me, with my experience, I've learned that actually most people go on social media are very lonely. Some people find comfort to post and see how many likes are there. So it's really sometimes really sad that it's good in a way, and then in other ways it's really destroying, or it's really damaging, especially to the young ones.
That's such a good word, damaging. I think that's definitely what it is, and it seems like the the good points are so great, but the negatives are so...
They outweigh a little
yeah, exactly. And Priscilla, thinking about the kind of the odd one out, the title of the documentary, have you ever felt like the odd one out?
Yeah, sometimes I'll tell you that during the lockdown, I had a family member who had a mental breakdown. So for me, and because it was also like lockdown with COVID and stuff like that, I couldn't even travel to go and see, my family member in the hospital. But it's that thing where you go, maybe sometimes you even want to share this on social media, you can't, because you feel everyone else is going to think, oh wow, the relative has got mental health. So you feel, oh my, what should I do? Should I discuss this with? Can I call my friends in London and say, can you go and see, maybe just go and check up? But obviously they were not allowing people to go in the hospitals. I had to travel one time and they told me, no, you can't come in. And then I'm like, oh my God, I just need to see this person. So maybe if they see a relative, things will change, because they were not responding very well. And, and I just thought, what am I supposed to tell? Especially from where I come from, the culture. What am I supposed to speak to?
Culturally, we're from the same country, aren't we? Yes. We're both Zambian born, and culturally, I'd say, I might be mistaken, it's one of the biggest taboos yet, isn't it? Is mental health, and recognising that actually anyone can be on a journey that impacts on their mental health. And for me, my experience of it is that they see it as an extreme, and there's a lot of shame around mental health.
Shame. Yeah. Shame is a really tricky emotion to have to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very, very difficult. Even to open up. You're like, they'll just think, oh no, she's mad, she's crazy, or he's crazy. That's that's the way they come out. But to be quite honest, like with this experience that we've had, the lockdown, there've been so much awareness about mental health. Me myself, I'm into healthcare sector, but I thought I knew about mental health, although sometimes I work with people with mental health, but it's the experience that I've had with, my closest family member, and I thought I knew I didn't, and I've learned so much through programs like mental health awareness in Portsmouth. And some of the things that we do as well as a charity, we have this Let's Get Talking. So we've had people coming in, like doctors, talk about how mental health affects different people, and I've just quite I thought I knew. I think when you are working with people with mental health, it's more like a routine, but obviously I didn't know. It's like, give medication, okay, bye. But I didn't actually know, because even for my family member, I used to think, what's wrong with her? Sometimes I'll lose it. I'm like, no, Priscilla, calm down. Actually, this is the condition she has.
So you get frustrated.
I'll get frustrated. And then if your family is out there, I was thinking, I feel alone, because yes, my family member is getting help, but what help am I getting?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I completely agree. I think as well, if you've got a headache, or if you've got stomach ache, or if you have to take some paracetamol, you can Google and you can say, right, how do I do this? Everything laid out. It's like, right, this could be this, it could be this, it could be this. But then with mental health, you don't get, oh, well, depression could be shown in these forms. It could also be shown in people throwing themselves into the party and being the number one person to mask. Like, you have absolutely no idea, which is another reason why I'm like, I need to take a page out of my own book sometimes. But like, to have more patience with other people, because I myself have been there where I've actually been at a really rubbish point, but then I was the life of the party, I was going out, it was all of this, and I just thought, oh no, I'm just, I'm being a teenager. And don't get me wrong, teenagers also go out, do really stupid things, and someone will also just be the life of the party because that's what they want to be. But yeah, I think there needs to be more awareness, as you said, about what it's like, what it actually is, and how to think of it. Because it's like, when you get a prescription, then my mum will get told, right, this is how, like, she can't have it every 4 hours, she can have this, and then she can have this. But then with mental health, it's like, okay, have a bath sometimes, or it's like, you need a bit more.
So there's something about knowing yourself there, isn't there, and self-kindness, and knowing what you need to protect yourself. And I don't know if we cultivate that enough in our culture, it's like, do we pause enough and kind of think, what do I need?
Yeah,
to
that check-in with ourselves.
Look after us, look after myself.
I think there's something interesting that I heard. If you were to write a list of all the people you love, like what number would you be on that list? And I don't know about you, but I don't even know if I would write myself on that list. You'd be thinking so much about all the other people in your life, and we need to be that number one, don't we, in our own list? Like we need to be first.
Actually, that's true, because it's like for me, when I looked at my family member, I always had to hide my feelings because I'm thinking they are relying on me now. I can't actually show them that, you know, I'm also feeling getting to the point where I feel I'm breaking down a little bit as well.
So you have
you
to
know,
be
their strength. Yeah, so I'm trying. No. I can't even cry in front of her, because if I do, she's gonna get more weight. I mean, the person will get more weight, so anxious, anxiety.
And you're so right about that, because I think that when you are struggling, you don't want to put that on to another person, do you?
Yeah.
And then that becomes that you're not talking about it, and you're not sharing about it. And I think you need to be able to talk honestly, to like process how you feel and have that honest conversation.
Yeah. I think you felt that before, like, because you've had you've gone through that.
Yeah.
So maybe you felt like you don't want to maybe give the people
Yeah,
pressure.
very much so. Yeah, I've put my walls up.
Yeah.
So telling anyone anything else, I'm always very much like, oh no, because as you said, I don't want to put it on someone else. I'm like, if I'm feeling this way, well then if I put it on someone else, I feel exactly the same. Which is why things like the platforms that you can talk to someone else, I find is much easier. But I don't know if it's just because of my age range, I haven't really seen anything, but I haven't seen as many for older, like adults, because it's normally like up to 24, I think, like Childline, or one of them are. But there aren't as many for adults. And yeah, like I talk to my mum, but then I'm like, who's my mum got to talk to?
Yeah.
Which is hard. It's hard for both because you're like, I want help, but then I don't want to put this on the other person. So it just puts you in a bit of a
it's
struggle.
a bit of a vicious circle, really, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
And what kind of things do you do to support your mental health in a positive way? It'd be really great if we could share some of that with people that are watching. Is there anything that you recognise or over this last year that you did that helped?
Talking about self-care, actually, I didn't do it before, but now I find myself, sometimes I'll be like crying, I can't do anything, but then the minute I can, then I'll have a really long shower, I'll put a hair mask in, and I will have a self-care night, or if I'm feeling that rubbish, even if I've got plans, I'm like, no, do you know what, I'm just going to stay in tonight. And it took me a while because obviously FOMO as well. Like I would never turn down plans before. I'd be like, oh no, I will be there straight away. But now I'm like, actually, no, I need a little bit of time just to turn my phone off maybe, or read a book, or maybe even just go for a walk. I find going for a walk to have a change of scenery helps so much.
It's great that you feel like you can say no, because I think that's a really hard thing. Even in my life now, I've had to work really hard to be able to say no to people. So recognising that you need boundaries, I think, is so important, and to be able to do that now is so great. How about you, Priscilla? What kind of things do you do for your mental health?
To be quite honest, I pick up the phone and call back home. But then I find that actually I'm spending more money calling home because so my bills are up with the phone, and then I have to start paying. But again, it makes me happy because I've spoken to someone back home. But I just feel, like I'm interacting with this other world where I'm coming from, maybe because I'm feeling a bit lonely, and I feel, okay, maybe if I speak to somebody back home, even just like friends, just talk about something different, something that's not in my face. And then I'm like, but Priscilla, I spent so much money on the phone. I'm like, it's made me happy.
Yeah.
I go shopping, and then when I get home, I'm upset with myself because I've shopped what I didn't want, what I didn't need. So, but again, I said to myself, if it makes me happy, why not? So I just
Yeah.
carry on.
Yeah.
So, but again, you know, it's like about balancing that life, and also because of the charity that I'm part of or I run, it keeps me busy, and I should agree that I should, you know, agree and thank the team that I'm part of. The team is very supportive, so we are like a small group. We are always communicating, so it's like, okay, I'm feeling this way. A friend will call and say, I'm also feeling this way.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm not alone. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one feeling like this. So I mean, I don't have to tell them that actually what you're feeling is what I'm feeling. They'll just call you and say, oh no, you know, Priscilla, today, I just feel like praying or crying. What should I do? I'm like, oh my God, so I'm not the only one feeling that way. So I carry on that way. So also, you know, interacting and networking is very important.
Yeah,
It's kept me as well. Like for example, giving my husband goes away a lot because he's in the Navy. So most of the time I'm alone. So I've tried, I think it's the interaction that has helped me, Roni's activities, you know, community things as well. I think they've really helped me, and work as well. Just go to work.
Talking, isn't it?
Talking.
It sounds like,
Yeah.
I guess, not feeling, in order to not feel alone, we need to communicate how we feel, and whoever that's with.
Yeah, but social media again can also bring back that negative impact, because you're feeling lonely. You go on Facebook.
Yeah.
You see people talking about, so many likes about another person, and then you post something, your picture's not one bit. Then you go back and say, just cover myself.
And it is addictive, isn't it? That whole chasing likes thing.
Right. Yeah, that's what people
And
are
I think
doing.
we're all like, we're all guilty of that, and I can't imagine it's very good for our mental health. I think somebody did some research on the impact of having a like on your endorphins, is it?
Yeah,
Endorphins?
okay, right.
And it does give you an endorphin kick.
Wow.
So how do you stay healthy
Yeah.
like that and not get dependent on that kind of relationship with social media? Open question. Answers on a postcard.
That is a big question. I don't know if we've got time for all of the answers on that one.
No.
That could be a whole different topic.
But they've got some strict rules at the moment, because I did a research when I just did my social media uni last year. Part of the research was that actually things like Instagram, they've actually said they need to only give people so many likes. People can only like stuff so many times. Okay. And also people like, you know, body images. Like if, let's say for example, Beyonce goes there and said, I look like this. She has to show her waist as well. Like, I'm still beautiful, even though I'm big. So they're trying to say, you know, because there've been a lot of, suicide, suicidals and stuff like that. So they've said, no, they need to also put up those other side of the body, not just saying, looking small is the best, or you look like this to look beautiful. They should also. I think it's actually been working very well. Instagram doesn't do that.
There is more accounts. Do you think you're noticing that more people are represented? It seems like there's a movement, isn't there, to celebrate the fact that we're different.
Yeah, I've seen Pretty Little Thing have done a lot, or Boohoo, or one of those. Post a lot of like body positivity, and I reshare a lot of things where it's like, look, these are my stretch marks, these are my curves. Okay, and there was one woman who with her stretch marks, she got gold like glittery paint, and she was like, no, these are my battle scars, like these are my empowerment. But yeah, it is, I agree completely, it is really difficult, and they do need to show more different body shapes, because I've got girls that I know who are 14, 15, who are photoshopping their own photos, and younger than that. Like, there's a girl that I know who's, God, she must be, I think she's year 8, and because I know her through, I can't remember what I know through, but and yeah, she photoshops the things. I'm like, you're
That's
13,
crazy, isn't it?
like you haven't even fully hit puberty yet, and you're feeling like you have to change
Manage your image.
Photoshop your body to sort of fit in, which is why I think we have come so far with showing different body shapes, sizes all of that. And I think it needs to continue.
There's still a bit of a journey there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
I do think, though, the journey begins with the person, because you have to have a really, I don't know, you have to be looking at social media from a place where you feel really confident as who you are, to not seek out the accounts that kind of will have an impact on you.
Are we mentally strong? Is everyone mentally strong? Because it's always in your face.
Yeah.
You know, like, but how strong are we mentally? So this is why mental health is just like really, I've actually learned a lot through these mental health programs, and it's really changed the way I thought about mental health before, the way I used to think about mental health. I'm really like open-minded, and I can talk about it. But even like I'm saying now, like for my family member, I would rather she just came out and said, I've suffered with this, you know. And slowly I'm trying to say it's normal, it's okay to go through this. But yeah, it's really changed my kind of thinking from
That's great.
Yeah, from my background, because background is like from where I come from, it's like a taboo to suffer with mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, even maybe here there wasn't a lot of awareness.
Oh,
I think in
I think
England.
the last few years it's got so much better.
Yeah, so
Before, sort of, you don't talk about anything.
yeah.
But I think the lockdown was a real catalyst for decrease in mental health. So I think that probably did help awareness of mental health. Because, I mean, my family were with each other the whole time. Oh, God, we wanted to kill each other. But it was just, you were seeing the same people the whole time. And then you think, as we said before, on social media, like, oh, my child's just done this in online learning. I've just got out of bed, and I'm quite proud of that, to be fair.
Oh, my giddy aunt.
And it was like, oh, my 3-year-old kid just made a treehouse. It's like, okay.
I wanted to punch people who did things like that. I handed my child over to school, and I was pretty much saying, I'm really sorry, I think you can still read. Thanks.
Yeah,
because it's just ridiculous trying to keep up with all that, wasn't it?
It's like, how much of your online learning have you done? Oh, you don't remember that? It's like, no.
Yeah.
So I think it did, the lockdown, however difficult it was, I think it did actually probably help awareness of mental health, even though it decreased mental health for different people.
Yeah. So if you had to give that one person you know a bit of advice on looking after themselves, what would you say to them?
It's a big question.
Oh, no.
Or if there's anyone watching that maybe feels like they're an odd one out, you know, what would you want them to know?
I've been there. I'm still going through it. And God, it's hard. And you have some great days. Like, I'll get them like, oh my God, I'm like absolutely fine. But then you'll have one little trigger or something, or you'll see someone and you'll plummet again. But it's never going to be easy. And I think I definitely needed to go easier on myself when I was at my lower points. But I didn't, because I thought it was weak, and it's not weak in any way. It's normal, and you're actually really strong for getting through it. And I'm finally I can say to myself now, actually, looking back at where I was, the amount I've increased, like some things will happen, and I'm like, before that would have tipped me over the edge, and I would have gone so much down here. But now I can see that, and I can grow from it, and I can be, actually, I'm fine. So just, oh God, it's hard. Like, every 5 minutes I'm like, oh no, I'm weak. No, I'm strong. And you've got to get in that headspace, and it will take a while. But then when you get there, it'll be so much easier. And there is light at the end of the tunnel, however much you hear it. And there's always someone to talk to. Like, even if it's not CAMHS, because there's, God, the need for mental health, the waiting, I'm still on it. But, and the work that they do is amazing, don't get me wrong.
Good, isn't it?
But it is, there's such a need for help with mental health. So even if it's just a friend, and I find as well, even if I call my friend up, and even if I don't want to say, actually I'm feeling really rubbish, I'll just say, can we just FaceTime, like just normally. But yeah, I think you will get through it, and you're really strong. It's not weak at all. But yeah, you're strong, and you can get through it. If I did.
That's so amazing, isn't it? I think nothing, no storm lasts forever. I
Yeah.
really love that saying. I think that's a really powerful way to look at it.
Yeah.
Just sort of keep moving forward however you can.
Yeah.
Your mum must be so proud of you.
Yeah, I think it's, like she's saying, it's just best to go out there and maybe also, talk to people.
Yeah.
Also, be positive, discuss. But talking about discussions, like maybe for Charlotte, she was able, maybe the mother, to discuss with mom. But we had a session, the one I was saying that we do, Let's Get Talking, and it was about mental health. One of the speakers was from the hospital, St. James's Hospital. She's a mental health nurse. So she did say that it's very difficult for African or black children to go to their parents and say, I'm feeling like this, because they'll just say, are you mad? Get out of here. What's this? Without actually looking at what's going on, especially boys. I hear that there's boys at the hospital there who would say, please, don't tell my parents. Now imagine that. I felt so bad. Because obviously the parents are not understanding, and they'll just say, if you're smoking weed, you're coming in this house, you better, go wherever you're doing that, without actually looking at what's going on, the reason. Why is it pressure from university? Is it pressure from friends? What's going on? So there's a lot of mental health in the youths, black youths. I hear, that this is the nurse was saying, which is sad. So I think it's best for also parents to see signs, to talk to children, their children, and and also parents to be more on the outlook, to say, what's going on? Is there anything I can help? Is it your girlfriend? Is it what's going on? But also people, it's good for people to be, be more positive, to say if plan A can't work, there's always plan B.
Yeah.
Because what I found out with my family member, that when I said that she had mental breakdown, she could not stand rejection. You cannot say no to anything. It has to be yes, because no was a sign of rejection that she's been, So I said no. There is always A, B, C. If this can't work, we can try something else. If this can't work, we can still try something. There's no problem that can be sorted out. That's what I believe. But also help. There's been a lot of help in Portsmouth, I should say that, especially when soul and mind. And it's up to the person as well. I couldn't personally maybe have done what this family member of mine was doing to get involved. Whatever came to our face, even help. Like you are saying, like CAMS, obviously it wasn't under CAMS, but she would grab it and just do it, get involved. And I was like, and she, and then also, got help with IVE as well. Volunteering, I think it's brilliant. Volunteering is good. I've now, I volunteer, but from this time I've respected volunteers even more. Or people who offer voluntary work. It's actually it has an impact. It's, it have a very good impact on people. I've helped from the time my family member started volunteering. She was able to wake up every morning to go out. And that's just changed.
Purpose.
It's a purpose, I think. It's why am I waking up? We have to have a purpose to waking up. For me, sorry, I believe that even when people have boyfriends or husbands, if you're not looking after this person, they have no purpose to waking up. That's why you find maybe the relationship breaks down, the person breaks down as well, because they haven't got a purpose to wake up to something or to dress up for something. That's what I believe. I don't know. But that's me.
Well, we need to draw the conversation to a close. Thank you so much both for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Really, really grateful for just helping us create a space where we could have these conversations. So
and thank you for being so honest with us and your answers and trusting us with them. It's been really interesting, isn't it?
Yes, an eye-opener. Thank you.
Thank you.